We should try to accomplish both things. So how do you do energy independence? You do energy independence by encouraging ethanol, by doing clean carbon sequestration. We have more coal in the United States than they have oil in Saudi Arabia. We should be relying on that coal. We have to make it clean, because for a lot of reasons, global warming, pollution, other reasons, health reasons. We haven't licensed a nuclear power plant in 30 years. France is 80 to 85% nuclear. China is doing 40 nuclear power plants in the next decade or so. We're going to have to look at that as a way of expanding. Those are the primary ways in which we do it. We don't give up on solar and wind. The big breakthrough there has to be developing a battery that will retain the power so that solar power and wind power are delivered consistently, rather than when the wind blows, you get a lot of power. When the wind doesn't blow, the lights go out. So you've got to have a battery that holds that charge. Not there yet, but not inconceivable. Probably left out a couple of other technologies. But basically, the United States has to approach energy independence the way we approach putting a man on the moon. It has to be a major focus of the federal government to push that and make sure these industries are moving forward, have the right support, moving forward, have the right market incentives. And we've got to get there in 10 years, 15 years, rather than kind of an unforeseeable future. Because if we leave it the unforeseeable future, then special interests that are opposed to every one of the things I mentioned will find reasons to stop them, and the special interests will win out over the general interest. We also have to do another thing. Those things that I mentioned are consistent with energy independence and ultimately reducing our impact on global warming. There is one that would be not totally consistent. It would just focus on energy independence. But I think in the short term, we've got to do it. We need more refineries. And we need to take advantage of oil deposits in the United States, in Canada, Mexico, and on the shelf. We've got to do it carefully. We've got to do it in a way that we don't do significant damage to our environment. But we need a little bit more of that flexibility, at least while we're going through this Islamic terrorist war against us, so that we can more quickly not just reduce our reliance on the Middle East. We get more of our oil from non-Middle Eastern sources. But that doesn't matter that much, as we can see in trying to put pressure on Iran through sanctions. If the rest of the world has to depend on the Middle East, it doesn't matter whether we're getting oil from the Middle East or they are. A lot of money is pumping into those societies, and we have no way of cutting it off. So if we could develop energy independence, we would have a way of having leverage over that. And one final thought about energy independence, I'm going to talk about this later in the week. It's a great way to think about how we should position ourselves in the global economy. There are a lot of Americans that are afraid of globalization.